A chance to go second in the table. Dropped points against the struggling side. Deja vu for Spurs. Welcome to next COYS Corner. So a disappointing result at home to a team who are bottom and without a single point. We've been here before, haven't we? Dr. Tottenham, as they call it. I was really hoping we would banish that to the abyss. But alas, it wasn't to be. A decent first half followed up by a really poor second half where we looked like we've run out of ideas, to be quite honest. Wolves' tactical change in the second half really helped them. 51% possession at home shows we really failed to control the game, and particularly in the second half where Wolves actually had more of the ball than we did with 53% possession. A bit of a reality check for us. So team selection, obviously several changes from the Doncaster match, but more importantly, just 2 changes from the team that played Brighton away. I mentioned about giving Porro a rest in my last video, so I was really happy that Frank rotated him for this match. We shouldn't be playing, for me, 2 such defensive-minded midfielders at home to teams like this. I think we need to really change the makeup of the midfield and find a different balance. I think it should be one of Bentancur or Palhinha, and then Bergvall or Sarr, and then Xavi central ahead of them. We're really missing having Solanke and Mawani as the options to either start or come off the bench. I think that is restricting Frank in his attacking options. And Frank is definitely struggling with finding a definitive left wing option in the team as well for me. So I thought the first half was okay. It wasn't amazing. It was a bit sloppy at times. There was a lack of focus. We did create chances in the first half. I mean, Kudus should have scored. Bergvall should have done better with his chance as well. Those 2 in particular really stand out. We got into some good positions. We threatened them. We created some openings. We just didn't get the final pass right, or we didn't get the right final decision right. There were several moments where we just made a bad choice or got the pass wrong. And Wolves, whilst they didn't create much, did threaten a couple of times, spacing behind our midfield. Destiny enjoyed a lot of space down the left-hand side of the pitch. As you can see here from this first image, a lot of space that Wolves left him, and he was able to exploit it throughout that first half. Making runs from wide, Xavi coming inside here, and Destiny left alone a lot of the time, Doherty getting pulled in with Xavi's runs. At times in the first half, Destiny also intercepted the ball really well, like on this occasion. Doherty's pushed up with Wolves' winger, and Udogi's able to win it, drive forward and into this space and really kind of attack Wolves and cause them problems. And he was a big threat in the first half. But Destiny's decision-making needs work in the final third, and he's not alone in this. On this occasion, he makes a great drive and run inside, ends up getting the ball back from Richarlison here, the ball played through into space. Destiny picks it up, and for me here, he has 2 choices. The first choice is to play a first-time ball right across the face of goal, early before Wolves defenders can settle, and Kudus is there at the far post to attack it. And that's really, for me, what he probably should have done on this occasion. But once he took that first touch into the box, he then has one more opportunity before he's intercepted to get that ball across the face of goal in that corridor of uncertainty between the defenders and the goalkeeper for Wolves. He needs to put that ball across. Bergvall is making a run. He should be able to maybe just get his toe to it. If it goes all the way across goal, okay, but at least you've got it across. But Bergvall is attacking it, and he may force the Wolves defender to stretch a leg out, and we know how important OG has been for us this season, and it could well have been the case again here had Destiny got the ball across. Unfortunately, he took too long on the ball, too long to get it across, and Wolves were able to cut it out for a corner. I also felt we lacked synergy in this first half. Despite some decent play, some decent attacks, there were definitely signs where players' relationships haven't built up and players made bad decisions. So in this instance here, we've got Udogie overlapping Xavi. Now, Xavi tries to come inside. The pass is obvious. Destiny has the momentum. Wolves have two players here, but they're both narrow, and Destiny has the speed on them to get on the outside and get into this really dangerous area to put the ball across goal again. But instead, Xavi takes another touch inside and loses out. In this instance here, we've got Kudus and Spence. And this is another great example of not getting the decision right. Kudus has held the ball up. He's drawn two Wolves defenders towards him, and Spence is making a bursting run on the overlap. And with Spence's speed and explosiveness, Kudus has to lay that ball into the space and let Spence go on the overlap and drive into the penalty box. But instead, Kudus holds onto the ball and nothing comes of that attack. It's a really disappointing decision making. And little things like this, if we make better decisions here and there, they'll compound and create much better chances for us in the match. We could have created two massive opportunities just from those single decisions I've shown you there. We failed to threaten Wolves much on set pieces in this match. And it felt like we needed to mix it up, really. I felt like we kept going, try and put it right on top of the goalkeeper, when actually I think we needed to try and mix it up. Maybe go short a little bit more. Maybe go to the near post, then to the far post. Just try and play around with it, because I don't think we look quite as dangerous in this game. And Wolves seem to handle it quite well. Despite the half being decent, I do feel we could fail to control the game, because there were several times where Wolves picked the ball up behind our midfield in threatening areas. They didn't really create many chances from it, but it just felt like they were exploiting gaps and we didn't quite have control. So that was an area that was worrying me in the first half, and it got a lot worse in the second half. So the second half just got worse and worse from the moment we went behind, but particularly when Frank made his first subs with Johnson and Porro come on. At that point, in my opinion, the performance completely collapsed. Wolves made a really clever move in the second half by going to a back five. And what that did is it took away the space that Destiny was getting in the first half, and it kind of stifled that left side of the pitch for us. You can see here Wolves lined up here in the second half with 5 players across the back line. And again here you can see them very clearly. It's making it much harder for Destiny and Xavi to build up down that side of the pitch. Here again, there's the back 5, and you've got players really kind of swarming around Xavi, and he's not got any options. Destiny's higher up here, but we can't feed him, we can't find him, and Wolves have really done well to stifle us in this area in the second half. The lack of ideas in the second half was very worrying. The famous horseshoe shape was very much at play. Ball going from left, back round to the defence, and back out to the right, and back again. And we just really weren't penetrating through the middle of the pitch at all, and so it was too comfortable for Wolves to defend. We really have to find ways to play through the lines and through the middle of the pitch, so we've got a more versatile threat, because at the moment we're creating chances, but they're nearly all coming from wide positions. Now, we did create chances in the first half, and we could have done better, and we could have easily gone in 1 or 2-0 up, that's for sure. But we have to find ways to create more chances, in my opinion. Vicario has to do better on their goal. It just wasn't good enough for me. You can see him positioned here, and as the corner comes in, he kind of takes steps to his left, but I think he goes a little bit too far. And then when the header goes towards the left hand post, he needs to make more of a stretch to get to it. But even so, the header bounces. It's not particularly strong. It bounces up, and he should be able to catch that. And at the very least, if he doesn't catch it, he should be able to palm that up and out, not straight in towards Palhinha, who it hits and ends up going into the back of the net. Really poor goalkeeping again from Vicario, and his distribution in this match as well was terrible in the second half, and really created panic and frustration in the crowd and in the team, I think, as well. So he really needs to up his performance levels for me. The lack of control I spoke about in the first half got a lot worse in the second half. As I mentioned, they had more of the ball than us in the end. I think they had 53% possession, and they were a lot more threatening. They still didn't create a massive amount of chances. And that's a positive for us, that the teams aren't creating loads against us, but we did lack control. And for a home match against a team bottom of the table, I would expect much, much better. Frank's subs, as I mentioned earlier, made it worse for me. Porro and Johnson came on the right side, and he moved Kudus to the left. Anyone that's watched Kudus for West Ham will know how much more effective he is on the right than the left. And one of the reasons he's formed it for West Ham was because they kept playing him on the left-hand side. So putting him out on the left killed any threat we had, really, because he wasn't comfortable out there. Johnson did nothing on the right and was poor, and Porro was really bad when he came on as well. So we ended up having no threat out wide from that point. And as I said, the performance got worse and worse. Xavi went central, but we didn't really feed him the ball properly. He didn't have enough options centrally to link play and try to feed players. We didn't get enough players in central areas like Bergvall and Charlton to make runs close to Xavi, to link play and try and play quick passes and then fizz the ball wide, or try and play ball through the lines, or take shots from distance, for example. And I do think we are lacking quality in certain areas. I think we're lacking quality naturally out on the left and up front, but we still need to find better ways of attacking and creating chances as a team for me. I think there's also a lack of movement, and this was particularly evident in the final kind of 20 minutes or so. There's several times players got the ball and they had no option in possession, and then they lost it, or they had nowhere to go and gave it away. And so we have to really work on the movement, I think, particularly when teams do sit off and we're trying to find ways to break them down. One thing I will give us credit for is that we kept plugging away. We kept going and going, even though we didn't play well, and we forced an equaliser right near the end of the match. You can see here Tell picking the ball up, cutting inside, putting that cross in towards the Wolves penalty box. And Sarr plays a lovely little cushion touch for Palhinha, who runs onto the ball and out of the Jimmy Greaves playbook, passes the ball, bending it into the bottom right-hand corner. A beautiful finish from Palhinha to get us at least a point out of a match that was obviously really disappointing for us. So I thought Kudus was probably our best player for his first half display more than his second half, but he was dangerous first half. He could and probably should have scored. He created several chances. He was the real threat for us on that right-hand side. And I also thought Udogie had a great first half as well, but he was just let down with his decision-making for me in the final third. That's an area he's got to work on. Apart from those two, no one really stood out particularly to me in this match. We got the equalising goal, but I don't actually think Palhinha played that great in this match. And I'll show a couple of clips as to why I thought that. So I thought he was guilty quite a few times of overcommitting in midfield and going way too high up when Bentancur had already pushed, and left massive gaps between himself and the back four, which Wolves exploited several times in the first half and in the second half. So here you can see a massive gap that he's left. Him and Bentancur should not be that high up the pitch at the same time. Another example here of the space they found with both midfielders too high up. Here's another example in the first half. Now he's trying to press, and I appreciate we're trying to be aggressive, but I think you have to be careful how much you overcommit. On this occasion, he goes right in the back, he gets spun, Wolves get out, and so they've got a gap to exploit against our back four. And this happened again several times. Here is another example where Wolves are progressing down the side. Palhinha comes in and he's super aggressive. He tries to make a diving tackle. He completely misses it. Wolves get beyond him and end up exploiting this space and getting into a dangerous area. And this shot here really shows what I'm talking about. Palhinha is highlighted. He comes across. Now, he doesn't have to dive in on this guy. He could just hold his ground, keep an eye on his left shoulder to the space behind him, and just try and block passing lanes. A bit like what I mentioned in the Brighton opening goal against us in the away match. He overcommits, he dives in, there's a huge gap that we get exploited by Wolves and go inside. Luckily, it doesn't really come to anything. They didn't create massively, but that's an area that Palhinha's got to work on, knowing when to push aggressively and when to just sit and hold your zone and block off passing lanes and just stifle the opposition, slow them down to allow everyone to get back. Because I think we're guilty at times of really vacating that space and making it easy for teams to get at us. I thought Xavi was poor in this match. He struggled. He did one really nice action right at the beginning by the right-hand side. We got a good cross in, and he put a fantastic ball in for Kudus as well. He probably should have scored. That was fantastic. But apart from that, his touch and his passing was off in this match, and I thought he struggled to get himself into the game consistently. Certainly doesn't help that he's been played off the left, and I know he was allowed to drift inside a little bit, but it's not the same as playing in that central area from the start and having the freedom to go wherever the game takes you. So he is restricted, and I don't think it suits him particularly. I think he needs more options around him. So He was poor, but I do think we need to get him into a central area to get him comfortable with the Premier League and get the best out of him. So it's Bodo away next up in the Champions League for us. We know them well from last season, a great result there. But I have a feeling they will be better prepared to face us this time, and we're going to need to play well again to get the 3 points, because it could be a tricky match. Hopefully we can put in a better performance and get the 3 points in this Champions League game to get us 6 from 6, which would be a fantastic start for us in that competition. Let me know your thoughts about the Wolves match. Who's your man of the match? It wasn't an easy one to pick for me. Do you agree about the way we're struggling to create centrally? Are we too reliant on those wide areas? What can we do to mix it up? How can we change things to improve against teams that do sit off against us? Maybe we should take more pot shots from the edge of the box and try and work spaces, for example. Let me know in the comments below. Please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell to receive notifications. And as always, come on you Spurs!